Hello everyone, my name is Yachimor and I welcome you to J-Rattle. I decided to continue the series now after I got a new sound card. Yeah, I ruined my last one accidentally. The small cable that connected the USB port to the sound card, well, tore apart. Overextended use. So if you're using an external sound card, I would suggest that you keep it lying around, still not moving it too much. Maybe have a tight connected place for it. I don't know. Just my 2 pieces on it. I got a new one. You might hear it in the quality of the recording. Had a lot of fixing to do because it was quite a stubborn one, but now I guess I'm fine at a point where I can use it without too much quality loss. So what do I want to talk about today? Oh, there are probably 2 things I would like to address, and maybe I can do it in a given time. One thing is the Crimea crisis. I don't want to go too deep on that matter, but just to give you my 2 pence. And the other thing is the Steam crisis, if you believe it or not. This platform has a small identity crisis, which is connected to the massive amount of cheap and bad games that are easily finding their ways onto the server. But first things first, the Crimea crisis. And all I want to talk about is, well, I don't want to talk about which side I'm. This would be a bad thing to do actually, because it isn't easy to tell who is the good and who is the bad side. You have on one side the new Ukrainian government, which started this whole revolution with a noble cause in heart. Right? But what I managed to do is to not replace the old government and the old mentality, since so many nationalist powers have found their way into the new government that the whole purpose of fighting the corruption and the unfreedomly ways of the old government are still in place. You might have heard it on the news that, one example, that the nationalists have forced one of the television CEOs to lay down his post because he made some pro-Russian statements, or he let pro-Russian statements happen on his channel. They forced their way into his office and forced him to sign his resignation. And I might want to ask, how much is that different from the old government? This goes even further, and it will even worsen with time. Lately, one of the nationalist leaders, Barbie the White, has been killed by the police. Some say it was that he attacked first, that he attacked the police first, as he was to get arrested. And others say, bystanders, other witnesses, that the police murdered him as he was arrested already. Here again, the old regime is still in the hearts of the people. And with this act of violence against the nationalists, the situation won't become less severe. On the other hand, we have the Russians, who I guess I can say simply invaded the Crimea region with the excuse to protect the Russian people on Crimea, and then forced election to separate the Crimea from the Ukrainian and reintegrated into the Russian homelands. You know, it would be okay, still questionable, but more okay if the Crimean people would have done so, I don't know, years ago, or on their own, without Russian presence, without guns held at their heads, and all the controversy that happened around this election as well. But Russia comes here with the, well, as we know, true.
I need more mana.
Oops. Well, they told us earlier that nationalist powers have made their way into the government. We called bullshit. We have been proven wrong. But once right doesn't make another time's war right. This can't stand. But Crimean people still belong to, or should still belong to Ukraine, and the Russian intervention, this not brutal. It wasn't brutal, they just went in there. Nothing happened, it was rather peaceful. But the pressure was there. And this pressure cannot legitimate this Crimean annexion, if I might say so. But then again, on the Ukrainian side, well, shit's going on there too. Not even good shit. You know, the wrong powers are still in place. Well, they got rid of the head of the pack, if you want. Of the Russian lover boy. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. No, in the end, nothing changed, and the people are in a state of chaos because external powers are pulling them where they are, pulling them into chaos. They themselves aren't able to get rid of what is hurting themselves so much. And I'm sitting here in a safe distance, rambling and rattling about what goes wrong over there, which won't help a little bit. But I just want to say at least that if you find yourself in a situation that you have to evaluate the situation that happens there, don't easily take the side of your home country, and don't easily take the other side. I just think, where do those two statements meet in the middle? Where are both sides agreeing on? And this is most likely to be the truth. Not always. And it would be too simple. But if two not enemy but slightly controversial
I need
sides,
more mana.
parties can agree on one thing, then either they have the same the same powers behind them, or it is a true statement. I'll go so easy on what happens there. And first of all, think of the people who lost their home because of national interests. Haven't lost their home, but they're about to lose. I mean, why immediately and so fast? It didn't even take a week for Russia to annex Crimea. Or a little bit longer, but it was an extremely fast and mind-boggling procedure that happened there that no one really could react to this. And one would think, well, what about the Ukrainian people on the Crimea? Why can't the Russian people, if they love Russia so much, go to Russia? It's their home. Why are national borders so important? There are higher goals behind the Crimea conflict. Just don't take the security of the people as an excuse to annex strategically important land. Or if you do, be open. Usually Russia isn't that modest when it comes to their interests. The people who just want to live their life with a proper government and have the ways and the possibilities to express their own opinion and live a free way, it shouldn't be made them this hard to have an easy life. I don't know if my rattling thing goes too well or too bad. I just like to speak out of my soul.
Fairyland learns to heed my demands.
Yeah, get on with your life, bitch. You also might wonder, why am I rattling while playing PoE? I can think while playing it. It is not easy, but at the stage of the game, after a few playthroughs, it is a slight routine. It isn't that dangerous. Not on Ambush League, anyways. And I can rather more concentrate on the important things, while you have something to see,
more mana.
to watch, to hear in the background. I don't know. If you follow the Two Best Friends series, it's half about the gameplay. At most, really. Most of the time, it is just nice to actually listen to the guys playing my iPad, really. They play and they not only talk, they tell you interesting stuff about the game, about the genre, about pop culture, about, well, pretty much anything. The gaming is a medium, but the real message comes from the action of those, and I wouldn't consider them casual let's players due to that, because they deliver their own work. Deliver their own work in the videos and their own contribution to what makes their videos interesting. They're not just showing you, well, the game and what happens in there. They're not spoiling. Oh, not spoiling, of course. Think about the longer Let's Play series. But the gameplay is just half the fun and information. That's at least my reason why I'm doing it. Part of the reason why I do it with video games. You don't want to to sit there and see my face all the time. You get something to do. You get a game, can see what happens. It is, I wouldn't say a music video, but narrated gameplay? I don't know. And I just hope the Ukraine-Crimea thing wasn't too short for you. As I told you, I don't want to side. The only side I really side with other people. Just any people, but the people who actually want the freedom and wanted to be able to live the life the way they want. Stop the oppression of the government. And I judge both the EU, both the nationalists, both the new members of the government, and I judge the Russians for their actions in combination with what happens in Ukraine. That is all, and I don't want to tell you that you should think so too, but I just want to suggest that you should give it a thought before you simply side and judge with a side. Well, the other thing I wanted to talk about, the Steam crisis, is something that not most people are aware of, or not don't see as a serious as a problem at all. It's a crisis. Steam, you know, the PC gaming platform that ports to us Counter-Strike and Half-Life and Fortress and sells loads of games, from AAA titles to indies to currently old titles. And what happens there is that, simple to speak, Steam opened the floodgates. Floodgates? Floodgates. This means any publisher can publish or can bring any game to Steam, no matter what. So in the past few weeks, we didn't only have one of our old and classical games come to Steam, but also not so old and rather shitty games come to Steam. Something like Desert Gunner or some other stuff. There are lots of stupid ones. Didn't even buy it. There are old games that have been bought less than 100 times. That on Steam, I mean, why even bother bring that game on Steam? Well, okay, no, but it's an old game and we actually have a platform for old games. It's GOG, Good Old Games. They take effort, they select the games that come onto their platform, they refine it that it will guaranteed run on the modern systems. And they put some effort behind the game. When it comes to Steam now, they don't give a shit. It sounds harsh, but it is like that. Any game can be put onto the Steam server, and the Steam employees don't check the quality, don't check the compatibility. It's all part of the publisher's job to make sure that it runs. And in the past months we have seen that we can't trust the publishers anymore. Things like latest Call of Duty, like Alien Colonial Marines, like Rome Total War 2. There are so many games out there that simply don't work as they should, that work worse on systems with an extremely good setup than their previous games on PCs with shitty setup. There's no quality control, there's no compatibility control, which is hard if you think about how many hardware specs there are out there. But the actual lack of control from Steam side just makes this whole thing worse. You know, one of these games, those old games, has on its title screen. Oh, I should research the names a little bit more thoroughly, but it's rattling. I just take myself the freedom to give you just the knowledge I have heard, I have shared, I have thought of, at the quality of rambling like an old man. If you don't like it, oh, I'm sorry for that. Anyhow, the original game worked the way that the music was to be played from the CD. Since the game is digitally available on Steam, you have to burn the music, the game music of course, onto a CD before you can listen it in game. So you could just play it with the Windows Media Player, but it is just the way of, we have an old game, we do not bother refining it, instead we just throw it on Steam and let the people figure out themselves if it works or not. Something that GOG would hopefully never do, and to this point probably not yet. They make sure that the game works fine on the newer systems, since these games are old and some only work with the DOS box, and it is always included in every game you use, and you don't need to set up, you just click the icon and it starts and you can play. Something that Steam doesn't guarantee us anymore. They say it takes too much time to make quality control, and then I'd say, oh well, then too much time for me to enter my credit card information in the future. It is some sort of free market thinking there. The developers will have to figure out that making shitty games will cost them sales. Problem is, some people will always buy the game first, because not everyone is checking the reviews or the first impression looks from various YouTubers and gaming sites, whereby you can't trust them either, or not totally. In the case of Titanfall, this game had so many awards before it was even out. Like, fully out. It was the longest time in beta and it already has over 15 awards. A game that's not finished, and games are getting hyped, and we are getting fooled that it is a good game or that it will work and that it will be fun. I have a lesson here for you too. Yes. Like the Crimea crisis, inform yourself. Have both looks. See who did like the game and see who did not like the game. Compare their arguments, and then you have then you can at least make an informed decision, because you know Okay, this guy doesn't like the game because of graphics and control. This one liked the game because of its gameplay and story. It is work, I know. To be informed. To not be ignorant. But truth be told, you can continue ignorantly buying any game that is being released without informing yourself, and then you'll notice $60 later, ah shit. Bad mistake. Bad decision. It's a game that doesn't work properly because it is just a port of a console or of a mobile game. It is a money grab because it has overly expensive microtransaction, because the gameplay is so slow otherwise. Dungeon Keeper. Oh no, the game only used its nostalgia feeling to make me buy it. Dungeon Keeper. Oh, okay, that was a real one. And then you sit there, unhappy with your life, unhappy with gaming, and a week later you step in the trap again. But you don't have to! Inform yourself. Take the time. The time and money you lose buying a bad game isn't worth it. And the message you send by buying a bad game, will it make even worse because it encourages. That's a trick one. Encourages? Oh, god damn it! Publishers will make more bad games. Ah. Some words are rather difficult for me to speak on. I hope you can forgive me. I try my best to make my videos as comprehensive as possible. But at times, in face of the shit that is happening in the gaming scene and the political scene, I have no choice but to flail around with my words. Inform yourself, please, people. You have the time on earth to inform yourself. You have the abilities. Unless you're in Turkey, where social networks are getting shut down because of, well, the government was afraid of social activity, of people informing themselves. Oh, the dog. Knowledge is power. Never forget. And if you stay informed, people can tell you shit and sell you something you don't want and you don't agree with, and act the way they do.
I need more mana.
Just don't. Just don't. Damn it, how many are there? Where? Okay, interesting. More like Deus Ex The Fall. A mobile game that has been ported to the PC without any refinement. It looks ugly, it plays ugly. You can't rebind keys or set proper options. Just ignoring the fact that the gameplay still feels like you're playing it on a mobile device. Inform yourself about that. Or you waste money, you waste time, you waste happiness, and you encourage them goddamn bastards to continue with this. Alright, I can enchant that. And continue with this stupid practice. That's actually everything I wanted to say. I'm in the middle of the quest here. I like PoE. Maybe you remember my blood magic marauder. I was able to get cool with him. Dominus. Dominus is a bitch. But he was my bitch then, and I'm happy. PoE is fair. It is goddamn fair. Of a game. Even though it is free to play, I want that one. Oh, all the sockets. Oh, that's okay. Delivers. But it's fair, it's a free-to-play game. They don't charge you anything to play, and you get the full gaming experience here. And what you can buy? Cosmetics. To make your stuff look different, or to have guild space. So you can play better with your friends. You don't need this stuff, but you can have it. You don't need it, you take it if you want, you pay money if you want, and you should. There are free-to-play games that want to rip your money because they make the game slow and tedious, but this game is well balanced and fully fully and nice realized, and they're still working on it and developing additional content. And they don't ask money of you, they just, if you like it, support it. If you don't support it because you are greedy or don't have no money, don't have any money, no double negation here please. And don't. But please think of what you're getting here. Games aren't cheap to make. They're expensive. Kickstarter can sing whole songs about it.
I need more mana.
And games like Skullgirls have shown us how much it costs to develop a single character. It was about $30,000. A single fighting game character. Well, it was in a classic fashion of 2D drawing. But truth be told, I can't always miss that. Still a lot of money and still a lot of effort going into this game. These games. Something that you like and love and invest time into. Is that actually good? Lots of slots. Yeah. Just please don't be a douche. Don't abuse the goodwill of developers who bring to you the better Diablo 3. God damn it, when does the stage end? Oh. Oh. Okay, I guess I've shown enough. There's enough of your time. My name is Yarimor. Have a nice day.